Hi, and welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today I'm finally gonna take a look at the Mezco 1/12 Collective Snake Eyes and Timber. Now, I know most people have already done the reviews, most people have got them, but I've been waiting on this, and I do have a lot to say about the time that it's taken to get. And I understand different distribution is going to send at different times. And Mezco, if you're watching, this is directly towards you. We order this through Mezco. We pay even more for shipping. And when you spend 2.5 weeks after you've charged us, or you tell us that it's in and you don't ship it and other people are getting it from BBTS, and I know I saw Chubsy Wubsy in New Jersey had it, that's not really acceptable considering we pay a premium. And again, if one gets it in before you, that's one thing. But the fact that these things were sitting in your warehouse just collecting dust while you sat on the money, it's very, very aggravating for those reasons. So, but no matter what, I'm going to give you an honest review and see what you think. So, here we go. We have the amazing artwork from what we had as a kid, version 2 Snake Eyes, Timber there. So let's just get into this. Now, this box is much bigger. So here I have Roadblock, and I'm going to just show you the difference. I smack myself in the face, one or the other. So you can see exactly how much bigger that is. It looks like it's about the same width, but it is that much bigger. I just can't believe Timber takes up that much room, but they do package their stuff really nicely. So anyway, on the back, we have everything that we're going to get with it. We got your Snake Eyes, your Timber, multiple heads, throwing stars, knives, guns, swords, lots of hand stands, and different things like that. So there you go. That's the back of it. And really all you have is G.I. Joe. And this does wrap around too. So if you're going to throw it away, you can open up and hang it on the wall. Again, it is extremely nice. So let's just get into this. But before we do, listen, if you like this type of content, if you like me smacking myself on the face trying to show you the different sizes of the boxes, take a second, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a new Joe review. So let's just get to this. Okay, so I got Snake Eyes out, and if you're new to the channel and you're wondering why everything looks like this, is I like to give you as much of a first shot as possible. But you can go back to the Destro Mezco or my Bishop and see exactly how Mezco is packed. This is packed the same, no tape to remove, no plastic that's going to crumble out or anything. Timber was wrapped in this. You'll see heads are always wrapped like this, so they don't get scratched or anything. Mezco takes a lot of pride in how they do stuff. So I kind of just wanted to show you a few things like that. So if you are new to Mezco, and I really do mean this, because I found this out when I opened Bishop, all right? The reason why I have this here, this is how the figure comes. It comes all packaged. Again, you can go watch my Destro. I think I might have done it with Roadblock. I'm pretty sure I did it with Bishop. Everything just falls out. So you don't want to just dump it onto a desk. If you dump it onto a desk, there's a good chance it's going to fall into the carpet, and then everything is gone. So here we have the swords, the blast effects, knife, sheath, different things like that. So I'm going to show you here. Just open it up. Everything kind of clips together. And unlike a classified, especially the new stuff, crinkle, crinkle, trying to get everything out, everything pretty much just falls right out, and this will go right back in. So here we have the grenades, the throwing stars, his 3-piece nunchuck. I know that's not the proper name. The throwing knives, probably not the proper name. And if you want to correct me, feel free to let me know what they're actually called. I will try and remember, but I'm reviewing toys, not the weapons and stuff. So as you can see, everything just kind of falls right out, nice and easy. So that one there is. So there's one that is just kind of hanging there. Look at that, came right out. Again, if you've dealt with the classified, and that's the one thing that I absolutely do not like what they've changed or how they've gone back to, is the crinkle to get everything out. So here's all the different hands. Now, he's a ninja. He does hand-to-hand combat. He also fights with weapons, swords, guns, different things like that. So you are going to have a plethora of hands. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hands here and a set on him. So you have 8 sets of hands. I would normally say, no, you don't need that many hands. And I really do believe that for a regular figure. I don't need that many hands. Mezco, you're paying a premium, so I don't mind that they're giving you all this stuff. Most of their stuff that I see has been made extremely well. Look at that, hands just fell right out. And then we get to the guns. And here we have his custom, not his custom Uzi, but his well-known Uzi that he has. There's his pistol. I believe that's the magazine right there. There's the suppressor for it. 2 different knives. So we can just open this up and everything just falls right out. And that is the reason why I have this tray here. You could have any type of tray, but this is obviously going to be the closest tray that you're going to have. So utilize it because it's what you need. So throw this over here because we're not going to be using any bags and anything right now. And again, if you're new to the channel, this is how I like to do things. I like to show people how things are. So if they're grabbing it for the first time, I can tell you when I opened up Bishop, things bounced all over the place. So Mezco, you always get their instructions on how to take care of it. And then here we're going to get a direction set of how the sword sheath and knife go in. Okay? So we'll look at that later. So quickly, this is going to take quite some time. I'm going to get through the stand really quick. So here's the stand that he came with. It has a peg that's already in there. Now understand this, their peg size is different than any other figures. It also comes with this, which is basically a flight stand. You have to push this out. You can either use something like this, use a screwdriver, something just to kind of push it out to get it started. It pushes out from the bottom through the top, then this plugs in. Essentially, you get this one. This is the one that came with Roadblock. Really don't want to go through doing that. It is a pain. You're pretty much going to use it one way or another. All right. So now let's take a look at everything that we're going to get. Oh my gosh, there is a lot of stuff. And as we go through, we can kind of pull some of these things out. So, here is our Uzi. You can see the little clip there that is made for the strap. It is completely straight. Has a port for blast effects. Magazine, which is removable. You can actually see the bullet there, so it's painted extremely nicely. Just pops right back up. We have this magazine, which again, there's the bullet. Maybe this one goes to the pistol. That one must go to the pistol. Or, that's a good question where this one goes. Huh. Wait a minute. Well, and this is what you get first timer, right? So another magazine. We'll figure that out a little bit later. Oh, I get it. The clip, I'm sorry. The magazine is already in. The magazine's already in the handgun. So you get a spare one there. The stock does extend, so it is extremely nice. There's a look at it. Again, really detailed. It looks nice. If I grab the G.I. Joe Snake Eyes, it's in his hand, but you can tell they are pretty close in size. All right, pretty close in detail. This one does not have a removable magazine or a port for blast effects. Here's his handgun, which is very large. You have a little paint app right there. Port for blast effects, and if you look at the nozzle there, it looks like it has a little bit of paint there. This magazine is what comes out, and that's what this is. So I apologize. Oh, I see the second Uzi magazine. So you get two magazines for this, and then you also get a spare magazine for the Uzi. Again, nice attention to detail, but let's be honest, it's really probably because they're worried that you're going to lose it, and you spent a lot of money on this, and they figure, hey, we should give you a little more. So I think the handle seems a little big on this, but we'll see when it goes in his hand. But that gun looks extremely nice. You got the silver slide right there. So there's the gun. We got these two knives, nice and straight. They poke you, not as bad as some. Nice little paint there. That little runoff of paint right there. Yeah, it looks like there's a little paint that bled onto it. That's nothing I'm really going to complain about. I'm sure someone will. Now, this looks like it should be for version 3. That would go across his chest. So they do have the knives. I'm not really sure where they go. We'll see if we can find a place for them. Here is the sheath for the knife. You can see that it's going to plug into his back right there. And we will do that when the time comes. And then we just have to find the knife that goes with that. And since I dumped everything out, it's going to be kind of fun finding all this. So we'll just leave, well, we can leave the sheath out here for right now. Here is the suppressor for his Uzi. And that's just going to plug in like this. Now, again, this is a really small port, so be very careful. It almost looks too thin, to be honest. I'm not sure I really like. I can't say I really like that design. It just looks like the barrel is just too long, but you can see that there's a little bit of different size, but you can see just how thin that is. I'm a little worried that may break over time. By over time, I mean by the end of the review. All right. So take a look at a couple of the swords here. So here's one sword that he gets. It's got a nice little handle. It's not just, just a mold. You can see obviously there's holes through it. Paint looks extremely nice. It is nice and straight, but it's still flex. It has some flex to it. I've mentioned that I don't really mind that as long as it's not really causing any types of problems. Here we have his more classic sword, but I love the fact that you have a nice silver blade and not just an all black blade. I believe that's what we got with 00 Snake Eyes and even 02 Snake Eyes. Nice paint across the handle. I believe, I'm not sure what color, which one's the plastic. But I always love this here, the little guard here. So, you can use it to stop a blade, cut through stuff, different things like that. And then we have the two different sheaths. And there's a lot of stuff, so this is going to be a long review. Longer than most that I end up doing, but we're almost through all the weapons and everything. So I love this design here. I just think it's very unique. Three cut openings. I'm just making up words right now. And that one just slides right in there, nice and easy. Looks pretty cool. Boom, comes out. I don't know why I said boom. I have no idea why I decided that I needed to use the word boom for that. And then we have this one here. No cut openings, but it just gives you a little bit of design. And we're just going to take this and slide that right in there. And look, they do stay in, so you don't really have to worry about them. You can feel that there is some tension right at the top, so nothing to really worry about there. All right. As I'm going through here, here's the blast effects for both guns, and I love the fact that you have this bullet coming right off of it. It is sturdy enough, you don't have to worry about it falling. What you do have to worry about is losing a magazine in the gun. So you do have to be very careful. As long as you get that in there, it's not gonna sag. It's not like one of the classified. It's not like the Hasbro stuff. It is nice and sturdy. So that's as far as you really need to get that thing to go in there. Stay on there, and put the magazine back in. Make sure it goes the right way. I hate looking over this. My eyes are getting worse as the days go by. It's a weird kind of term. You have to push that thing up nice and easy. It gets in there nice and tight. Yes, that's what she said. All right. We'll take a look at the grenades. Now, he comes with what? 6 grenades. Here they are. We'll grab this one. Extremely small. Nice little paint detail on it. You got your silver. But these are going to get lost, just so you know that. Again, one already fell. I could hear it bouncing. I have hardwood floors, which means I'll have to find it. Roadblock also comes with them. I do not use his. You have these throwing knives here. And I believe we had 6 of them. Again, just so many. Paint looks really nice. There's just so much stuff. And that's why these videos, you know, take so long to get through. Here's the throwing stars, which we have 6 again. I love the paint on them. So they're black, but you can see that they have been sharpened, and that's where the silver comes. They look extremely nice, and I can only imagine what you can do with them. Do you really need that many? I have a feeling, like the grenade, you might just lose it. All right. Oh, and here is the knife. So here's a knife for the sheath. Some nice paint to it. Nice little handle. Something on the end of the handle. No, it just looks like it's cut on an angle. And then the sheath just goes right on down, just like that. All right. The multitude of hands. So first hand here is the throwing grenade hand, and you can kind of see the smoke that is coming off. He's tossing it. I love how they did this. Again, you don't have to worry about the sagging or anything. So they did it exactly like a comic panel. This is what they show you. They're throwing the hand grenade, and they draw a nice little design of it being thrown off. Now you have to do that because you can't really do a throwing one. And we'll show you how these go on. It's really easy. Here he is throwing 3 I almost said Chinese stars, which then I just said Chinese stars. 3 throwing stars. Hands already connected to it, so technically you're getting even more hands than what we originally saw. So now let's get into the hands before we look at the figures. We kind of the web crawling hands, so the open hands if he's on the ground, if he's fighting hand to hand. You have the knuckle action hands, so when he's knuckle punching someone. And if that's not something that's real, then I apologize. I don't want to fight about it. Hold on, I'm looking. There's so much stuff to show here. Another kind of like thumb wrestling hand. This is not a trigger hand, so this is actually so you can put a throwing star or one of the knives in the middle. So, you want to do an action pose like he's going to throw it? There you go. And assuming with the Chinese star, with the throwing star, you can throw it right in there just like that. So, absolutely awesome. I love this. And this is actually a different, so I didn't even realize. Look at that. That is a different throwing star than this one. There's another thing we're going to be looking for. So there you go. Actually has different types of throwing stars. We have one for the other hand. And let's see here. Trigger fingers for both hands. You have an open hand. You have the karate chop hand, which looks pretty strange. And the hands are very rubbery, so it's easy to get guns in and out. Another thumb wrestling hand. That's one he clearly lost. I know there's another trigger finger for the right hand. So, lots of different hands. The attention to detail on it, you can kind of see it is painted on the top because it's obviously guarded there. All right. Gotta grab this throwing star here. So I found one thing. And then the next thing will be to find that grenade. It is going to drive me absolutely nuts, but I don't want to stop the video. All right. So let's take a look at Timber first. Snake Eyes, you're going to go over there. Again, over 18 minutes into this, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for sticking around and waiting. Or watching, not waiting. So, let's lower this just a bit so we can take a look at this wolf. So looking at the colors, it looks really nice. It really looks like there's only probably 2 paint apps other than the eyes and the nose on here. They just blended in. So he starts with the white on the bottom, goes up to the gray. He has that just normal face, which, okay, no problem with it. Eyes look good. Got a little bit of paint rub right there on the nose, so that's a little disappointing, but I'm not going to yell and scream. I can remove that. Tail moves back and forth. He gets the legs that can go out, come back in. They open up about right there. Knees bend really easily, so it's a nice smooth articulation to it. So you have point of articulation here, up here. Then you got some painted toenails. So as you can see, everything moves nice and freely. I haven't heated anything up. Head here. You get the neck that can move around. Body, kind of moves just a slight bit. And I really like, I do like the articulation on it. Quickly, we can take a look at this wolf head. Now, this thing looks psychotic. This looks like it's infected by rabies. It's a vampire or a werewolf. You can clearly see the gums. I can't say that I'm a huge fan. It looks like his teeth are rotting. And if that's the look they were going for, they nailed it. I think by hiding the gums, I think it may have looked a little bit better. There is the peg for the neck. This one here just looks more deranged. I'm not a big fan of seeing the gums. I guess I would have to look up actual wolves and see if they show their gums like this. But I'm just not a big fan of it. I mean, the teeth, I guess they don't, maybe they're not supposed to be white. Maybe they're actually bloody. Who knows? But the eyes look really good. Eyes look really good on this one. This one, again, it looks more like a werewolf. And then you have a very docile looking one, which all I can see, I think it looks the best of all of them. So, quickly to take a look at these two here. Here's our, let's move this out of our way. So, if we kind of stand up Timber, they have a very close articulation. They look to be fairly close in size. You can tell that the Mezco one is just a slight bit bigger. When you look at the heads, not so much. And as we can compare the two here, I'm not going to lie, I think the classified one actually looks better. He has a nice little scar around his eye, around his nose. But the docile look, it just, I don't know, it looks, I like it better. That's all that I can say. So here we have the angry one. I guess we can compare it to this one. So let's pop off the head here. Comes off nice and smooth. There's a new one, and we can pop this on here. So to compare the two, and the two angry ones, the two snarling ones, and the articulation, I mean, you can just see here on the classified, it bends way better than this. This is really all the articulation that you're going to get. But looking at these two, again, I think this thing looks ferocious, but I have to look at some actual pictures of wolves and see if they nailed it properly. I just like the way the classified one looks better so far. Now, if you're wondering, are they universal? You can see exactly how small the peg is here. So, unfortunately, you would have to use some sticky tack, and I think the colors are fine. You could get away with it. It just, I don't think it looks right, but everyone is going to feel a little bit different. Pop this right back on. Now, you can see I have this big 3-0 snake eyes back here. And the reason why I have that back there is every time I look at this, the pictures that I've seen, it's kind of what I think of. So let's take a look at this snake eyes. Look, he's got a bib on right now. Let's raise this up here. Again, thank you guys all for sticking around. Take a second, hit that like button if you're still here, and that subscribe. Let's take his little bib off. And again, Mezco takes care of you when it comes to this type of stuff. All right. So, I'm looking at this figure, and I'm going to say this. First look of it is what shows up on pictures and on film does not show up as prominent in person. And what that is this this leather type. It looks, when you see it in pictures, and I can see it looking through the lens here, or through the camera, it reminds me of like the V outfit, right? When you're looking at it in person, it definitely blends way better. It's still noticeable if you're really paying attention, but looking at it in person, it doesn't do it nearly as much. So I have to say, looking at it, I feel better about this than the pictures that I have seen. All right, so we'll get to the articulation quickly. So his head does move back and forth. Look down and look up. Don't get very much use right there. Very smooth, okay? Very smooth. There's your T-pose. Bicep. He clearly has double articulation here. As I'm feeling, it feels like he might have, I feel like a chiropractor trying to feel. He definitely does have a, hold on. He definitely does have a butterfly cut. Now, how well does that butterfly cut work? I don't know. Mezco doesn't cross over either all that well. But double articulation here, no problem. He has the waist that swivels. He can turn side to side. That's the best Jean-Claude Van Damme. Now, here's the biggest thing with Mezco. Because they use all soft goods, you have to be careful because you don't know if something is starting to stress. His knees, again, double knees, really smooth. Nothing to worry about right there. Boot cut. Now the boot cut you can't see. Then you have your ankle articulation. And all in all, in person, I think it looks much, much better than what I've been seeing in pictures. I don't think that this stands out nearly as much when you're looking at it in person. But again, as I'm looking at it through the camera, it definitely picks up. And that is very disappointing. But I'm looking at it and I'm like, I kind of like it now. I didn't think I was going to like it. The more that I saw pictures, the more I was getting aggravated. But, all right. So, let's look at the head there. That is some nice detail, some nice sculpt to it. You can see where his lips are going to be, but they don't give you lips, and I'm perfectly fine with that. The shield looks really nice. It looks like it's meant to articulate up and down. It does not, but it looks like in real life it should. This is exactly, again, this is the leather or the rubber piece that's kind of driving people nuts, and myself included. There's his gauntlets. So it looks nice. Looks like we can probably take them on and off. There's where we're gonna put the sheath, and there's where the knife goes. And as you can see, it popped off. I hope it didn't break. Nope. You can see the little peg right there. So I have to peg this thing right back on here, which is so much fun. And you guys love watching this. But hey, you know what? You tuned in. You knew this was going to be long. Holster here. I know this is something Bobby B loves. It is connected like a real one, so it's actually not going to sag down. Doesn't really bother me when that's not there. But what does bother me is like this one has already been sagging down. And if you have Destro, you know this constantly sags down all the time. It just, especially on cloth. So you can see where he's supposed to be holding a couple extra magazines. It has a strap for this, which comes right off. So that's how you're going to hold the pistol in there. Boots have some shin guards, but you know, you only get so much, so much range of motion. I don't think, and I know, speaking for my Destro and Roadblock, which I do love, you do not get the same articulation as you do in a classified figure. I'm just going to say that right away. There's less points of articulation, I believe, or right around the same, but you have a lot of hindrances. So we're just going to take this, and I can already see I'm struggling with the belt. So let's try and get this belt to snap on. And it's really difficult. There's no doubt about that. It's really difficult to get this belt on. And this might be something I might have to stop the camera just to get that back on. Because you might need to get something underneath it to kind of push up against it so you can get the back piece to plug into it. Yeah, that's just going to come off every single time. That peg is so small right there. So let me try this one more time here. The belt is extremely soft, so you could actually pop it off. And let's say you really wanted to customize your own Snake Eyes or another figure and you have $112 to waste. Yeah, this thing is not going to go on, so. Give me a second, because I can't really continue the review if I don't have that on, so. All right, so the biggest problem is when you move the leg around, because of the holster strap, it's going to move the belt. It's going to cause this, because it is a very soft plastic, it is going to cause that to continually come out. So again, you cannot get nearly the poses that I do with my classified all day long. All right, so we're going to take the pistol, slide that pistol right on in there, and then this should go right over without a problem, as you can see, and just plug in. So, and it's going to be a little difficult to get that thing to plug in. Everything is so tiny on this to make it work. It's kind of what you're paying for, but it also makes a long review. So there's that. Here is the knife that I know that once I try and plug This thing onto here, I have a feeling that belt is going to come. Oh, maybe not. All right, so there's the knife. Went on actually nice and easy because, as I mentioned, the belt is soft. Again, this thing is going to continue to fall down, just like Destro's holster. And now we're going to take his classic blade, and it slides through. So you can kind of put it at different points, because I'm assuming the swords are going to be a little bit different. So that just slides through. And now there you go. You have Snake Eyes with that. Now he has these 3 grenades up here. You can see there's some nice paint to it, and they do not look like they come off. Guess you could probably try and pry them off. I'm okay with it because you can already see all the things that are so easy to come off. All right, but let's get to a couple things because you guys have waited this long. I want to get the Uzi in his hand, so let me find the trigger finger. As I mentioned, take a second, hit that like button if you haven't yet. There we go. So there's your trigger finger. Mezco hands, again, if you do not know, they pop off extremely easy. And as you can see, there's no peg on it. So the peg is a very small peg. It's on the actual figure. And I can say that on some of the figures, when I've been messing around with Destro and Roadblock, sometimes it's easier to put the gun on the hand first and then plug that in. So I throw this up here. Now, I do like the fact that we can extend that out if need be. And we can put the suppressor on it. We can put the blast effects. So, just to get into that pose that we have right back there, I really do not like the fist. I'm going to be changing that out. So, there we go. Just kind of how the Snake Eye sits. As you can see, is right here. And there, I kind of got them in the exact same poses. Now, the articulation here, again, with the feet, only goes so far. But let's compare these two Snake Eyes. So, quickly, I'm going to move their guns down. Move their guns down. They're in the way. Old Punk wasn't thinking about that, so. I like both their masks. I don't have an issue with either one. I can't say I really like one more than the other. They both have the bandolier of hand grenades. Obviously, this is an old style with the pineapple. They went with something more modern here. They both are running, little belts that go across. No issues with the Snake Eyes holsters here. They definitely do hold up. This one looks extremely nice. All right. As you can see, this thing continues to fall down. So, oops. So here is a complaint that I have seen and heard is the height of Snake Eyes. So this is a Mezco. We all understand that. So I'm going to take these two Snake Eyes. And as you can see, he sits a little bit taller. He's a little bit taller than the Snake Eyes, than Classified 00. That's not that big of a deal. I don't have a huge problem with that. I had him posed for a certain way for the longest time, so. But here's our issue. Is they put him on a taller buck than Roadblock, who I believe uses the same buck as Destro. And if I remember correctly, I always thought of Snake Eyes as a little bit smaller. Either way, the Roadblock buck is too small to begin with. He should be up on a bigger buck. But he does seem a little bit taller. So the question is, does that mean Storm Shadow was going to be taller. Maybe they did that because they expect you to have him in some very dynamic poses, fighting and everything. Oh, you know what we didn't look at? Sorry. We forgot to look at his nunchucks. And they're just like version 3. I've already heard people kind of complain that, hey, you know what? They could have done a version 3 head and gave him a different overlay. This is the deluxe. But Roadblock was $100 or $112, and Destro was $100. So he was only $12 more. I don't know what the complaint is. He actually comes with more stuff, including an articulated wolf. So here is the wonderful nunchucks. I know they're called something different. I can't imagine that I will ever be using them. Here's a grenade. I'm going to throw the grenade in his hand. I got to get this stupid fist off. I don't have him punching anyone right now. What I do need is a trigger finger for that hand. So there you go. There's a trigger finger. I don't know what that was. We'll pull out the handgun, throw the handgun on here. See how easy this thing comes off? Throw the handgun right up here. So you can see I'm kind of putting it on here. Now this gun seems big. The handle is extremely large, which I'm not sure why they did that so large. I know someone right now said that's what she said. But, so, there we get them. Now this doesn't really work because he'd have to be throwing it over more, so. I guess like that. Gotta get him further back. And as you can see there, now we have him in kind of that throwing motion. He's throwing the grenade over at Destro, who's sitting over here. Either way, I think they're both dead. Just gonna say, I think they're both dead. But there is the grenade. Now we get to the throwing stars. Which again, everything seems to be coming out of the right hand. And, all right, so this one's going to be very, very tricky. Very tricky. Now, this one here, I would say, would be coming across his body, right? So he should be coming across his body like this. I don't like how easily this keeps coming out. And again, I know this is running long, guys. That's the problem with the Mezco and how I do my reviews. So I do appreciate you sticking with me. Now, getting them in a really good pose, like he's actually throwing, I kind of have to motion and see how I would be doing it. So he'd be going across his body because you'd have to be throwing it like this and releasing them. So he'd be releasing all 3 at who's ever coming this way at him. All right? So we can easily say Mouse Jaw has come at him and he's using throwing stars while he has a flamethrower and, well, grenade launcher. Doesn't bode well for Snake Eyes, but he's Snake Eyes. So he's throwing this at him, crossed his body, releasing 3 of them all at once. All right. Woo! Boy, that was long. So then we can kind of take a look. I kind of forgot to show you the tattoo, the tampo on it. So there's your Arashikage symbol. I probably missed a few things. He's really just all black. All in all, in person, I think the figure looks way better than I had thought that it was going to. Everything stands out on the camera. So in person, this here is not nearly as bad. There was one thing that I wanted to get to, and that was the head. So he only comes with one head. The head does come off. But let's just say, I don't want to mess with that one. I don't want to pop the head off of that one. All right. Let's say for some odd reason you're like, hey, son of a bitch. Neck peg comes off of this one. I think I have to use that Storm Shadow. I don't want to, but I'm going to, because it's the original. Let's not break this, because you ain't going to find this one again either. That seems like to be the hardest retro figure to find. Alright. What I do for you guys. I'm going to pop off his head. Please. Alright, I was seriously holding my breath. Alright, so if you look here, you got two different peg sizes, right? That is a huge problem. I got yelled at in my Destro one about this. So you can see the two different head sizes. Now I can obviously take the classified one and I can pop it on here. Now it looks kind of weird. He's got a big giant neck. But let's say you want to pop it on here. If you look on the inside there, that is a rubber grommet. That means that it changes sizes for the head. So you can push it down and make it fit, and it will stay on. I did it with Destro. I've done it with Roadblock. Roadblock does not fit nearly as well. Destro somewhat does. So you can take one of your classified ones. If you don't like, let's say, the one with the stupid eyebrows, and you wanted to use one of the Destro heads, you can. So you can pop that on there. This one, I did struggle a little bit more. I actually kind of, you can feel the head kind of collapsing because it's soft rubber. But it's on there, and it actually doesn't look bad. But you, my friend, I'll get you back on here. Oh boy. You ain't finding this figure again either. Not for under about 150 bucks, so be careful if you have 00 Snake Eyes. And you have Retro Snake Eyes. And obviously if you have Mezco Snake Eyes. So anyway, there you go. That's pretty much it. The head should just go right back on, and I feel like I have to struggle. I didn't struggle with any of the other ones. Maybe because I just stretched it out so much. Anyway, there you go. It's not going to fall off. We're good. But you don't get a lot of head movement, unfortunately. You're going to have to wait for that thing to size down again, because now it's super loose. Anyway, there you go. Let's wrap this up. Okay, I'm back for a second. Because I forgot, I didn't even bother showing you how he looks holding a sword. So, again, you have the different types of hands. Probably should have just grabbed one before I started again. First off, we'll start with this hand, right? So there's the hand here. That it's very reminiscent of how Xamot and Tomac's hand is. So you can put the daggers in them. So as you can see, just kind of fit him right there. Get some really good poses on here. Didn't even put a gun in his hand yet. So you have that there. And then we're going to take... Technically, you could probably throw the sword in that hand. But I believe there's an actual sword hand. So this would be one of the sword hands. Which would be the thumb wrestling hand, as I've mentioned. I did not come up with that, so if anyone's wondering. So here's the other one. And I'm probably going to say, once I go to do this, now you can probably just use the trigger finger. Again, the hands are rubbery, which isn't a bad thing. So, throw this sword in his hand. Now, unfortunately, even with what I feel are butterfly joints, it's hard, again, very hard to tell. You're just trying to feel... Again, you start to feel like a chiropractor. But they might not be butterfly joints because, hold on, like, see, they don't have butterfly joints on here. but it feels like there's a little bit of mobility, but they're just not done right. So I can't cross over and get him to really hold the swords together with his hands out. That is a very disappointing thing. I really wish you could, but unfortunately, that's as far as the hands are going to cross over. So as you can see, you can get this sword in. There he is fighting. Yeah, I just want to throw that in because I didn't even show him with the swords. Here's the Arashikage sword. And I don't really have an issue with the knife because the knife can move wherever you want it. The sword's, you know, it's on an angle like this. The knife can move to wherever it needs to be. So I don't know. I don't have any issue with it. Put it in whatever angle you want. All right, there you go. Now I got to do some pictures and my final thoughts on this figure. Okay, so my final first thought on this Mezco Snake Eyes is I like him way more than I thought I was going to. Again, the biggest issue was the leather mixing in with the soft goods. I didn't think it looked that good. But in person, you don't notice. On camera, on pictures, yes, it definitely is showing. The timber, I think, articulates probably a little bit better in the legs than the classified one. I like the docile head, but overall, I think the classified one is actually better. So, do you think this is worth getting, spending $112 on? All the stuff that you get, that's up to you because you can get multitude of Snake Eyes and create a Snake Eyes that maybe you think is better, along with either a white timber or the gray wolf timber. So, it's your call, but I do like this. I say check it out if you're interested. Wow, that was a long review. I do apologize if you're still here and you're like, I can't believe it took that long. I try and give you as much as I can. Again, if you're new to the channel and you don't know how I do my reviews, I want to show as much as possible. I know it's not completely possible, especially with how much stuff, but I think this figure is actually much better than I thought it was going to be. I'll keep on reiterating the pleather leather mixed in with the actual cloth does not look bad in person. In pictures, it's almost impossible not to notice. It just stands out maybe because of the gloss. But I'm going to get out of here. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in and watching. If you are interested in this figure, I will drop a link to Entertainment Earth. You can get it now and wait. If it comes in stock and you order it, you'll get it 10% off plus free shipping and handling. So if it's $110, you're already looking at getting or it's $112, you're actually looking for getting it about $100. So I think it's worth it in my personal opinion, but hey, I can't spend your money. I can only spend my money, and half the time I don't want to do that. But I'm going to get out of here. But listen, the social medias, A Punk with Toys on Instagram. That's A Punk with Toys and A Punk with _toys. I haven't decided which one I'm going to use because I just got the other one back and I'm trying to decide. The Facebook group page, Punks with Toys, because once you join, you're a punk with toys. And I got to say, it's been way more active. A lot more people have been joining, so I need to get on it and see what's going on. Make sure no shenanigans are happening. But I'm going to get out of here. Before I do, take a second. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I do drop a G.I. Joe video, a Mezco video, any type of action figure video. You want to be notified, that's for sure. But I'm going to get out of here, but don't go anywhere. What I am going to do is I'm going to drop a link to the Mezco Roadblock that I did, and here is a playlist of all the other Mezco figures that I reviewed. Take care.